I want you to do something with me for a second before I say anything else. I want you to picture December 31st, the last night of this year. I don't know where you'll be. Maybe it's quiet. Maybe you're with friends or family. Maybe it's chaotic. You're at a big party. I don't know. Maybe you're in Times Square. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. At some point that night, or maybe New Year's Day, more realistically New Year's Day, you're going to be thinking about money. You always do. Everybody does. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you see? Are you thinking about that same balance in your bank account? Are you thinking about how you're transferring money from your savings account every paycheck, and then every paycheck you put it back in your savings account from your checking account, and you do this dance repeatedly? Are you thinking about the same three accounts that have been going through your head, like, oh, maybe I should, look at my 401k or open an IRA, or I don't know what they're doing, but those accounts that you've had for years? Can you tap into that feeling that you have, like that knot in your stomach when you're thinking about money? Because you don't really know if you're doing the right thing, if it's enough, if it'll last. It's the same sentence that you've been saying to yourself since the beginning of this year, since January of 2026. I'll figure this out soon. Now, here's the part I actually want to talk to you about today, because some of you have been listening to me and rocking with me for a while. You've been reading my emails. You've been listening to my podcast. You've been following me on social media. And I know this to be true because I actually just finished up with a one-on-one client who's been rocking with me since 2020. She waited 6 years to get started. Listen, that's neither here nor there. However, many of you have watched me. You've watched me run this webinar before. Maybe you've even watched it twice. And if I'm going to be honest, I think I know what's happening. I know that somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this little belief that's doing you a tremendous disservice. It's doing a lot of damage. And it's the belief that she'll do this again, and I'll catch the next one. But I want to rip that belief apart today, because it's the single biggest reason why you, with your smart, capable self, why you're going to end this year exactly in the same position with which you started it. Hi, welcome. Welcome back to From Middle Class to Millions. You know who it is. It's me, your girl, Shannon. I'm a certified financial coach. I'm the founder of The Whole Budget and Shannon Brome-Ward Coaching. I'm the same woman who started with the $12.50 and I built millions. And I'm on a mission to get 1,000 women to $1 million. And today's episode is not going to be a gentle one. I'm not going to go easy on you. I'm not. It's meant to be hard-hitting. And I want you to stay with me because I think you need to hear this. All right? I think you need to hear exactly what I'm talking about today. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about the women I coach. Okay? These women are smart. All right? Let me tell you about one in particular. She's smart too. She has a good job. And for about 3 years or so, she told herself that exact same sentence that I asked you to envision in January. This is the year that I'm going to get my money together. Because she's been waiting, right? She's been waiting for a clean moment in time where she could get things sorted out. And in her particular case, she was waiting for her court case to resolve. She was waiting for her divorce to be finalized. She was also waiting to pay off one more credit card, waiting for the kids to be a little bit older, waiting for her job to calm down a little bit, waiting for the grief of her life that she had envisioned for herself that had been destroyed to soften. She told me this almost word for word in our very first session together. She said, I thought I had to finish everything first. all the crap, all the court case, the custody stuff. And then and only then did she believe she'd be allowed to start thinking about her investing and her money. It's like she thought that her money had to wait in the hallway until she could give it permission to come in and start to work for her. That's not how life works. Life does not have a finish line where everything clears out and you finally get a shot at looking at your money and your finances because it's a clear and clean pathway. There is always going to be something. Always. Always a kid that needs more attention, a job change, a parent who needs you, a summer that's too busy, a fall that's too busy, a January that feels too complicated to start something new. If you are waiting for the version of your life that you have the clean, empty email inbox with no complications in it, if you are waiting for a life that looks like that, you are waiting for a year and a life that doesn't exist. That whole belief that I'll catch the next launch, I'll catch the next time, is the exact same waiting game. It's the same thing. And I know it feels responsible, and I know it feels like patience. But it's actually just the I'll finish everything first story that is keeping you behind. And instead of saying, listen, I've got to make this a priority and it's got to run right alongside my life, you're saying, I'll wait until Shannon runs the program again and I'll be ready next time. That's just an excuse, my friend. It's an excuse. And you're making that excuse, I like to call it, you're making that excuse for a good reason, or what you believe is a good reason. And I like to call excuses for good reasons riscuses. And you're making this excuse because you're scared. Because the thing is, you're not fixing anything by waiting. You're getting older. You got the same accounts with the same debt and the same unanswered questions and more fear. That's the thing. That's the pain underneath all of this. It's not that you're putting it off and it's alleviating your stress. It's only making it worse. It's not because you don't understand money or you're bad with money. It's not that. I know that a lot of people will lead you to believe that that's what it is, but it's not that. It's that the idea and this notion of later has been running your finances for years, and later never shows up to do the work. Later doesn't make you financially independent. Later doesn't make you financially sound. Later doesn't help you. Later only helps when you get started today. So I want us to do something together. And it's going to be a little uncomfortable. I told you at the beginning of this podcast that today's not going to be an easy one. And there's a reason for that. And it's not because I'm trying to be mean to you. It's actually because I want to save you from yourself. Okay? And save you from the excuses that you've been giving yourself for years. So if you have a pen and you're not driving, if you got one, grab a pen, pause, go grab a pen and come back. If you're driving, you could do this without the pen, but I need you to envision what I'm talking about here, okay? So if you're able to, and you have a pen, I want you to draw 2 lines on a piece of paper, or if you're driving, picture 2 lines, and both of them start today, okay? August, whatever it is. Whenever you're listening to this, you should be listening to this at the end of August. So I want you to start both lines with whatever date today is. So the first line, line A, you do nothing different. Okay? You close this app, you go on about your week. Maybe you think about the webinar, you think about the program for a day or two, and then, life takes over. Like it usually does, like it always does, right? We're always living our lives and things come up and that continues. And you walk that line forward all the way to December 31st. And I want you to think about what's different when we hit December 31st. And be honest, what's different about your money? What's different about your accounts? What's different? For most of you, the answer is going to be nothing. Nothing is going to be different. You're going to have the same balance, give or take. You're going to have the same accounts. You're going to have the same debt, if not more, right? You're going to have this same vague plan that lives in your head about what you're going to do next. You're going to be a little bit older and 0 decisions further along, and you're going to have more stress because nothing has changed. Now let's look at line B. Line B is you book a call this week before the cart closes on Friday night. You join the program. You get 10 weeks of live teaching and live coaching. 10 weeks. This is not a New Year's resolution that dies by February 3rd. No, 10 straight weeks with a start date and an end date where you build your wealth builder identity. You learn the real math behind your first 100,000. You get honest and understand your cash flow and your debt without shame. And you have a payoff plan. And you walk out the other side of those 10 weeks with a written, automated plan built around your actual numbers. Not something that ChatGPT pulled up, not something you Googled. And you got real advice, real guidance, real support from someone who's walked the line before. And you're going to walk that line forward. So by the time December 31st comes around, you're not still wondering. You already know because you've got confidence and you've got a skill about money that you can use for the rest of your life. And think about 12 months from now. 2 completely different endings if you're on line A or line B. The only variable is whether you make the decision this week or you let the calendar and the fear make the decision for you. Because listen, $100,000 invested and left alone tends to double roughly every 7 to 10 years, depending on the market conditions. That means every year you delay starting isn't just 1 year behind. It's 1 fewer doubling ever in the entire lifetime of your money. That's just what compounding does. That's not about scarcity. That's what compounding does, how it works for you. Time is the one ingredient in this entire equation you cannot buy back later. And that is why I'm emphasizing that you jump on line B. Listen, there's another side to this. There's another side to the line B. Okay, and I want to tell you what that actually looks like. I want to paint a picture for you because I don't want to leave you just thinking about math and numbers and all of that. I want you to see women who are already there. Okay? So I had one of my clients come to me in the midst of a separation, a divorce. And they were selling their house. And she was managing her money on her own for the first time in a really, really long time. And she didn't have any idea where to start. She was nervous about it. Let's be honest. When you build a life with someone for a long time and then somebody pulls the rug out from under you, your life looks very different than what you had intended. And she was nervous and she was scared and she had a lot of decisions to make, but she knew that taking care of her money was one of the important ones that she had to do in order to also take care of herself. And let me tell you, by the end of the program, I want you to know what she said to me. And if any of you are on IG, go over to my account. You can actually hear her voice saying this. She was like, I could actually feel hopeful about it, and I have a plan. It being her life. A solid, realistic, feasible plan, and I'm going to be okay in retirement. That alone is priceless. She told me that she'd spent years assuming she'd lost track of money that was rightfully hers. And so she, as I tell people in the program to do, she found real unclaimed funds sitting in the state treasury waiting for her. This is money that she already had and she didn't even know about it. This is what happens when you start to look at your money. This is what occurs. You start paying attention to what's yours and what is needed for you to feel confident about your money. You learn about money, you attain money, and you pay attention to the money that's in your realm right now. I had another client who had never looked at a retirement balance, not one time, okay? Not once. Someone had told her to start investing. She didn't know what she was investing in, but she did it, and she never looked back. It was just automatically withdrawn from her account. And you know why she didn't look? Because she was too afraid of what she'd find. When she finally looked at her account inside the program, her exact words to me were, "I'm not in as bad a shape as I thought I was." Whereas weeks earlier, she had told me she just wanted to get out of this spiral. Her life was spiraling. Her money didn't make sense to her. She didn't know if she was going to be okay. But by the end of the program, the spiraling was gone. And it was also replaced with an actual number and an actual plan. There's no confusion when you know what's going on. There's no intimidation or fear when you get the skill. That's the difference that the 10 weeks makes. I had another client who years before had lost her first husband. And when she got out of the fog of her grief and she turned around and she realized, okay, I've got these kids. I've got a lot of debt. I have to sell a lot of stuff in order to survive. And you know what she said to me? She swore, she said, at that time that she would never be in that position again. Now, listen, this woman has since remarried, has a wonderful partner who can completely take care of her and knows what he's doing with money and has a way more solid foundation. But you know why she joined the program? She joined the program because she said she never wanted to be in the position she was in before when she had lost her first husband. She wanted to know what the heck was going on with the money. And at the end of the program, she told the group, I know that I'm going to be okay. I needed to know for myself that I could handle the money myself and grow the money myself. This wasn't a rescue mission that she was on. She built this skill alongside the other women in the program. 10 weeks, starting from exactly where she was. This is what the other end of the program looks like. Certainty. Smart women who are afraid to join, but more afraid of not joining. Every single one of them said some version of the same sentence to me. I know I'm going to be okay. And I know that sentence is available to you by the end of this year as well. But you can't access it if you don't do anything. I want to call out exactly what I feel the real reason some of you haven't booked a call yet. Even after opening all of my emails, listening to the podcast, following me on social media, I want to call it out. And I think it's because you truly believe there'll be another one of these and that you're not in a rush. But the truth is, I don't run this training constantly. And even when or if I run it again, your life between now and then doesn't pause and wait, obediently and politely. Like the version of you sitting in this exact moment with this exact amount of clarity, this exact amount of motivation, having just heard these women's stories, that version of you does not carry over perfectly to whatever the next time happens. Come on, you know this. Motivation fades. Life starts lifing and gets really loud again. The account you keep saying you're going to finally open doesn't get open for another few months, which turns into another year. The way it already has for, however long you've been listening and thinking and considering and contemplating opening it. And at the end of the day, you still don't understand your money. Because let me tell you, the second misconception that's hiding right behind the first one, that there'll be another one of these, is that programs like these are for women who already have it all together. Every single client that you've heard me talk about in my program joined the program in the middle of life that was messy, but were real as hell. Selling your home is messy. Being in the middle of a divorce is messy. Spiraling because nothing seems to be working out is messy. Widowhood is messy. Debt is messy. None of them waited until things calmed down, because things calming down was never actually going to be the trigger. The decision was the trigger. The program isn't the reward you get after your life gets easy. It's exactly the tool that makes it easier. So here's what I want you to believe, and I want you to believe it because my clients have proven it, not simply because I'm telling you. Not one of my clients was a finance person. Not one of them had any extra time lying around or a calm season of life waiting for them to now start looking at their money. All of them needed the exact same thing. A clear, easily learnable, boring, powerful decision, and someone to walk them through it in plain English, live, with real coaching, real answers. Not a course that they bought once and never opened, but somebody that they could bounce ideas off of, learn concepts from, ask questions. If they could start from exactly where they were, in the middle of life, in the middle of a storm, in the middle of messy, real life, you can start from exactly where you are right now, today. Even before this episode is even over. Listen, here's the invitation. And I'm going to be very specific about the timing because I don't want anyone to be confused. The cart for this program closes this Friday, August 28th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Not next month, not sometime soon, Friday night, midnight, this program round is done. From Middle Class to Millions, your 100K portfolio is my 10-week program. Live weekly teaching and coaching, not a pre-recorded course, where you build your wealth identity. You learn the real math behind your first 100,000. You work through cash flow. You work through expenses. You work through debt without shame. You build a budget and a spending plan that still lets you live your actual life. You're going to get all the investing foundations that make your 401k, your IRA, and your HSA make sense for the first time ever, so you'll know what people are talking about around you, and you'll be able to understand what's going on with your money. You will walk out with a written, automated plan built around your real numbers, not a hypothetical, not someone else's. The investment for this program is $3,000 and payment plans are available. So please don't let that number alone make the decision for you before you've even talked to me. Book your call before Friday at midnight. That's it. That's the whole ask. You get some time on the phone with me. We look at exactly where you are and we figure out together whether this is the right 10 weeks for you. The link will be in the show notes. And if 10 weeks feels like a lot, I want you to do this simple math with me one more time. 10 weeks from a program that starts next month puts you finishing this work well before this year is over. Which means the version of you opening that banking account or looking at that app or starting that investment account on December 31st or January 1st already has a plan, already knows what's going on with their money, already isn't guessing anymore. I asked each of the women in the last cohort a final question before we wrapped up. And it's my favorite question to ask because I think it's so telling. Who in your life needs to hear what you learned? And every single one of them said everybody. Sisters, daughters. One client has 5 daughters and she's teaching all of them. Girlfriends. A best friend who's a nurse practitioner working herself to the bone with no plan of her own is what one of my clients said. She has to tell her girlfriend what all about this and what she's learned. They mentioned that they had to tell coworkers who are approaching retirement but have no idea what they actually own inside their own accounts. People don't evangelize things that wasted their time and money, okay? Nobody rushes to tell her sister about a program that let her down. There is zero shame and mega confidence when you understand how your money works. So I want to leave you with the answer to the question of this week's episode title, because I promise I don't want to dodge it. If nothing changes between right now and December 31st, I'm going to tell you what you're looking at. Same accounts where you're tossing the money back and forth, bringing it over from savings to make up the difference from checking. The same number that makes your stomach drop a little when you check it. The same 3 accounts, some open, some not. The same sentence, I'll figure this out soon. Except now, you're going through a few more months and another year of uncomfortable living. Now you've locked in 1 fewer doubling of your money that you'll ever get back, because the clock only moves forward. It doesn't reset when you finally decide to get around to it. And now you have more fear and uncertainty than ever before, because when you do nothing, fear and uncertainty are the only things that are compounding. You get to buy yourself a fear tax. And let's not be dramatic. It is not a dramatic collapse in your life. It's just years of quiet 3 a.m. math that you never actually did on paper, that's charging you interest in your sleep and interest in your peace of mind that you'll never get back. Or the cart closes Friday at midnight and you book the call this week. And 10 weeks from now, you're not guessing anymore. You already know. You've acquired a skill that you can use for life. And you're already going to know you're going to be okay. Because let's be honest, it's not that you were bad with money. You just weren't taught. And while nobody was teaching you, another year was ticking by, whether you were ready or not. That can end this Friday, one way or the other. I'm Shannon Brome-Ward, and this is For Middle Class to Millions. And I can't wait to see you in the program. Take care.